After hearing Coach Elko talk at his recent press conference, I think he might stick with quarterback Conner Weigman.
You are Locked On Aggies, your daily podcast on the Texas A&M Aggies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into Locked On Aggies. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak. Thanks for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday on Monday's episode of Locked On Aggies, we talked about what's going on in the quarterback room. Today, we're going to do the same. We're going to talk about, I think, Cyrus Allen is maybe wide receiver one, and we're also going to talk about why special teams needs to tighten it up a little bit. But to me, we heard from Coach Elko yesterday at his press conference, and just based on a few different things, I believe he's going to stick with Conner Weigman as QB1. Now, I want to lay out this entire argument. First things first, I'm having trouble with this one, y'all. I really am. Y'all know how much of a Conner Weigman guy I am. And it was very obvious he did not play well against Notre Dame. He played better the following week. And then, the injury happens and Marcel Reed comes in and plays incredible against Florida. And let's just call a spade a spade. I think that the offense ran better with Marcel Reed. And, here's the deal. I think it's a good problem to have because I think here's the situation. And this is, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have to piece this together as a Locked On Aggies family here. We need to break this down and figure it out. I lean right now on the side of Marcel Reed. And the reason I lean there is because I just think this offense, with how Coach Klein likes to run the football, works better with Marcel Reed. Now, is Conner Weigman athletic enough to run the football? Yes, he is. But Marcel Reed has an extra few steps on him. And Marcel Reed's a great thrower of the football to where, yeah, Connor's probably got the edge throwing it maybe by a little bit to give him that. But Marcel Reed's got the edge, I think, by a wider margin when it comes to running the football, and he can also sling it. That throw to Cyrus Allen on Saturday was incredible. He had some great throws. He had some great plays with his legs. He had that one move where he, took a step to the right and the guy fell over. And he looks incredible running the football. And, now I'll say this. We've seen one game this year from Conner Weigman. We've seen one game this year from Marcel Reed. Or excuse me, we've seen two games from Conner Weigman. Well, one game that, you could say really, really matters. And I think that, yes, while Marcel Reed has had the better performance of the season so far, snapping the Aggies' road losing streak, playing great, likely on short notice. It sounds like the injury that Conner Weigman sustained was late in the week, and so Marcel Reed only had a few days to get ready to rock and roll. But, looking at all this, breaking this all down, I think that, and we could be too quick to judge both of these quarterbacks. But, the eye test doesn't lie. And against Notre Dame, Conner Weigman did not look great. And Marcel Reed looked incredible against Florida. And I know that Notre Dame's defense is much, much, much better than Florida's defense. But I just think it's really tough. This is really tough. And I would say, based on reading comments here on Locked On Aggies, reading YouTube comments, I think that a majority of us here believe that Marcel Reed should be the guy. I'd say it's probably 70-30 right now, maybe even 75. Might even be higher than that. But I think Coach Elko is going to stick with Weigman. I really do. Just based off of, so first of all, on the depth chart. Now, I also don't know if Connor's going to be good to go this week. I am talking more when Connor's back healthy again. He could miss this game and then be healthy for the following week. So, but I want to read through these quotes because I think they're somewhat telling. So let's read through everything Coach Elko had to say about Marcel Reed and Conner Weigman during his press conference yesterday. So he says, Mike Elko and Conner Weigman, we're going to re-image it to make sure there's nothing there that we were missing and make sure we have the right plan in place. We'll sit down with the medical team this evening and come up with the right plan and course of action for this week. So that's, the injury. Mike Elko was asked if so we'll read this quote last. So Mike Elko says, Conner Weigman is going to be listed as day-to-day and week-to-week. We'll continue to manage the quarterback room in the same manner that we have and play the guy we feel gives us the best chance to win. He then had this to say about Marcel Reed. We feel really comfortable with who Marcel is. We have a lot of confidence in Marcel. We always have. It didn't surprise me. Is he consistent? Yeah. He's consistent in that he's young and goes through the ups and downs of being a quarterback. He has a skill set we can win with, which is what I'm talking about. His skill set is something Coach Klein and this offense and this team can win football games with. Then here's where it gets interesting. Mike Elko, when asked if both Conner Weigman and Marcel Reed are completely healthy, if this is a competition week to week, and he said, "Oh, I'm not going to answer that." So, this to me is really, really interesting. I don't know which way I lean on this. Now, I do believe Conner will miss this game against Bowling Green and Marcel Reed will play. My follow-up thought to that exact issue is if Marcel does play and he plays incredible against Bowling Green and he has stacked back-to-back really good games against Florida and Bowling Green, and now it's time to go play Arkansas on a neutral site, it's going to be really hard to go back to Conner Weigman after Marcel Reed is stacked back-to-back great performances. Now, I think we have to remember this. I think as fans, one thing we have to always remember, these guys are Division I SEC football coaches for a reason, okay? We have to remember that. We are not. I like to say that. Because I think we all need to remember that. And Conner Weigman won this job, okay? He won this job over Marcel Reed. There is a chance, and Conner Weigman might really be the better quarterback. Now, Marcel Reed could also be the better fit for this offense, but he won this job for a reason. And I think that if Conner Weigman does end up getting the nod to start down the road, I think people are going to be quick to be upset with that. I think people are going to be quick to be angry with the coaching staff. But Conner Weigman is the guy that they had win the battle. He won the quarterback battle. And I also believe that Conner Weigman, I believe he's a good quarterback who had a really, and when I say really terrible, I mean a really terrible performance against Notre Dame. No secret there. He was awful. And he knows that. He owned that. So I still believe in Conner Weigman. I do. Now, I'll tell you this, though. I am so conflicted with what is the right decision for this team. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why I said I want to talk this out with y'all, because I lean both ways. And I know a lot of people are going to say, Marcel Reed, and that's fair. And I get it. But so answer me this question. This is what I want. And like I said, this is going to be a lot of our conversation this week on Locked On Aggies, knowing you're playing Bowling Green, and this is really what's going on here. So I want to hear this from y'all. I mean, should one bad performance change our opinion on who Conner Weigman can be? And I know Marcel Reed played well, and I know and maybe I'm not saying the answer is no. The answer could be yes, knowing what we've seen from Marcel Reed. But Could we be overreacting to one good performance from Marcel Reed and one bad performance from Conner Weigman? I want to hear y'all's thoughts on that. I'm not saying my answer is yes. I just want to hear y'all's thoughts on that because this is going to be really interesting to see what the coaching staff does. This could go either way. Like I said, I bet Conner misses this game. Marcel Reed plays, and if Marcel Reed plays well, do they stick with him against Arkansas or do they go back to Conner Weigman? That is what is going to be thoroughly, thoroughly interesting this week and potentially next week. So that's what I'm monitoring. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Let me know in the YouTube comments. I'm really anxious to hear what everyone has to say about this situation. We're going to talk about Cyrus Allen potentially taking over as the dude in the wide receiver room. We'll have that conversation coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. First, I want to tell you about our friends over at Roy. Hey, Aggies fans, have you heard about Roy? It stands for Return on You, and it's a new platform that lets the fans get involved in NIL like never before by making contributions directly to your favorite athletes. By supporting players directly, you can help shape rosters, retain talent, and keep your favorite athletes out of the transfer portal. As you all know, NIL has changed the game for athletes. Roy changes the NIL game for fans. Roy allows fans to directly back their favorite college athletes. With Roy, fans can play a key role in shaping the future of their favorite teams while athletes maximize their name, image, and likeness potential. Download Roy on iOS or Android and enter referral code Locked On, and you'll automatically be entered in a sweepstakes to win $5,000 cash. Visit joinroy.com for additional details. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited. Get off the sidelines and into the NIL game with Roy. So, is Cyrus Allen the dude in this wide receiver room? And I'll tell you, when you watch this offense, when you watch this team play, it's hard for me to sit here and say no. It really is. I mean, look at what he's done so far this season compared to other receivers. Now, we got a great YouTube comment yesterday. Someone talking about how this offense might just not be built for Noah Thomas's skill set. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. I agree with that. And I just think that what Coach Klein is doing really suits Cyrus Allen. And, you know, I think that, I mean, like, look at the difference here. So Janae Walker, yeah, he's got 6 catches, but those 6 catches are for 31 yards, and his long reception on the season is 11. Cyrus Allen has 10 catches on the season for 181 yards. His long was, of course, a 73-yard bomb last week. And, I mean, he just looks really good. He runs crisp routes. He's open. And, you know, we talked about, will someone take over as the alpha dog in this wide receiver room? And you know what's funny is I believed that was going to happen, but Cyrus Allen would have probably been the 4th name on that list. And then something happened. I remember this. It was the week leading into the season, maybe a week and a half, whatever, before the season. And there was that video we talked about where Conner Weigman threw the ball, and it wasn't to Cyrus Allen, but you could tell Cyrus Allen was in with the starters ahead of Moose. And that's when I kind of got the vibe, okay, Cyrus Allen is playing some really good football right now, and I think that he has a real shot to get out there and win this job and be good. But I thought he had a chance to work his way into the starting lineup. I wasn't sure if he had a chance to become the leading receiver on this team. But I mean, as of right now, I mean, like, look at what's going on. Noah Thomas has 5 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. Moose has 3 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. Janae Walker once again has 6 catches for 31 yards. I have this feeling that it's going to end up being the Cyrus Allen show going forward. And I think, you know, now that you have Jabri Barber back, which once again we weren't fully expecting. I mean, in the offseason, during the offseason, we talked about, hey, it looks like Jabri Barber might miss the whole year. And you luckily are able to get him back, which is great. But, I'll tell you, I think top to bottom, Cyrus Allen's looked like the best receiver on this team. And I think that, I almost like that. And I'll tell you why. It's because I think we already know what we have in Noah Thomas and Jade Walker and Moose Muhammad. We didn't know what we had really in Cyrus Allen. So knowing that he's kind of taken over here means that you still have three solid receivers in the other three guys, but Cyrus Allen taking over as the best guy is great because that means you have another really good wide receiver on this team. And wide receivers, while this offense is going to be based on while this offense will be based on running the football, you also still need to have really good receivers. So, you want to talk about balance. As of right now, Texas A&M has thrown 72 passes compared to 131 rushing attempts. Colin Klein wants to run the football. So what that means is when it's throw the football time, these receivers need to get downfield and these receivers need to get open. And to this point, Cyrus Allen's been doing that. That play the other day between Marcel Reed and Cyrus Allen that went for the long one. That was just beautiful football. It was great instincts from Cyrus Allen and a great throw from Marcel Reed on top of it. I just top to bottom have absolutely loved the way this transfer receiver, Cyrus Allen, has played to this point. And I think that he's going to be that kind of safety blanket, that, reliable receiver for Conner Weigman, for Marcel Reed, for whoever ends up winning this job in the future quarterback. So I was very, very happy I'm very happy with how Cyrus Allen's played to this point so far this season. He's been really good, and I think that he's going to be really good the rest of the season. So I am excited about that. We're going to talk a little bit about special teams and why you can't miss field goals. We're going to have that conversation coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I want to talk about our friends over at FanDuel. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook today. So, in this game against Florida, Randy Bond did miss a couple of kicks. Now, he's 5 for 7 on the year. You can live with that, but let's run through these situations of these kicks. So we'll go to play by play here. We'll go drive by drive. So, you score a touchdown to make it 33-4. So you get you get the pick six from Bryce Anderson. Then you get the long touchdown drive that leads to a touchdown from DJ Lagway to make it 33-14. So you feel like, you've won the game, right? Yeah, you feel like it's over. What's 33-14? It's 33-14. You feel fine about it, right? Okay, we're good. Whatever, no big deal. Then you miss a field goal. That field goal would have made it 36-14. They go down and score a touchdown. And this is a 40-yard field goal. They go down, score a touchdown to make it 33-20. So, 2-possession game now. Now you've got the opportunity. Then A&M gets the ball again, and you've got a field goal. Now, once again, the point here, are these the most crazy? missed field goal cost you a game situation? No. But the point is, you never know what can happen. You missed that second field goal that would have made it a 16-point game. In a 16-point game, 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions. Now, if let's say you missed that field goal and the Gators take over and take the first play to the house and get the onside kick and score a touchdown. Let's say that happens. Is that likely? No. But you don't want to have to be in situations where kicks are costing anyone stress and kicks are costing anyone, concern. And then on top of that, you add in the fact that these are 40-yard field goals. Now, I do not want to end up in a Pat McAfee segment. I am not saying field goals are easy. They are not easy. But 40-yarders, they're both 40 yards for a Division I kicker. Okay, maybe you'll miss one here and there, but going 0 for 2 from exactly 40 yards is really, problematic. You cannot miss from inside, from at that range. 40 yards, 45 or longer. That's when it's, I get it. That's a long kick, but really under 45, especially right at 40, those are kicks that you just have to make. Now, my point here is this: did it cost Texas A&M in this game? No, it didn't. It did not. And you're fortunate that you had a large enough lead that leaving 6 points off the board didn't kill you. But it could have. And that is kind of my point here, is I think that is it the most significant? Is it this huge, big deal, whatever? No, it wasn't. It didn't end up mattering. But it could have. You know what I mean? You make both of those field goals, it's a 19-point game, and it's with that much time, it's completely undoable. 2 touchdowns, while very unlikely with that little time left in the game, is possible. Crazier things have happened. Once again, it's football. We've seen crazier things happen on the football field. So the point there to me is this. I think that you need to fine-tune it. I mean, I don't think you're going to move on past Randy Bond. I don't think that's the answer. But those are kicks you got to make. The Aggies are very fortunate that did not end up costing them in this football game, because if it's a different situation, it could have. What if you're fighting from behind and you're down 17-10, and you leave those 6 points on the board that could bring it closer, and then this is the point. It didn't affect you in this game, but it could. It feels like basketball. It's like, well, you missed some free throws down the stretch. Luckily, you had a large enough lead built that it didn't bother you. It didn't end up hurting you. That's kind of the case here. You had a big enough lead that these missed field goals didn't end up hurting you, but they could down the road. So that is something that this team needs to get fine-tuned. Randy's got to get it dialed in there. Randy's a good kicker. I believe that. I'm not worried about him, but he has got to make those ones. He really you have got to make those ones. You've got to make those ones 40 yards less for sure. So hopefully that doesn't end up being something that bites the Aggies down the road this season. I think that Randy is going to be okay. I think he's going to figure it out. Luckily, it didn't affect the Aggies in this game, but in the future, it is something that could. So the kicking game needs to get fine-tuned as the Aggies get deeper into the heart of the SEC slate. That is going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Aggies. Thank y'all so much for being here every single day. I really, really appreciate it. I hope everyone has an outstanding rest of their day today, and we will see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Aggies.